So Greg, now we'd like to talk about a few selections from Herodotus 7, which is our 24 text G, where we see the power of the hero to affect history.
Yes. Well, this certainly has everything again in it. I'm just amazed at how much information is packed into such a very short narrative. Let's start with the Armada. I couldn't resist translating the Greek word as armada because I wanted to give the flavor of an overwhelming force of naval power. And here are the Persians sailing down the coast of the Greek mainland on their way to Athens, intending to enslave Athens. If you look at this reference to headland of Sepias, this headland is named after an organism that is sometimes translated in English as cuttlefish. You could almost say calamari if you wanted to say it in a Greek way. And what's important about the folklore concerning this kind of sea creature is that is sepia, I'll say it that way. Sepia is multiform, it's a shapeshifter, it can change into anything it wants, at least that's the folklore, and biologists can verify that it is highly accommodating to its local environs. And it's no accident from the point of view of this narrative by Herodotus, the so-called father of history, that the shipwreck of this mighty fleet should happen at this place. Do you mind if I jump ahead?
No.
The folklore having to do with this place is that this is the place where the parents of Achilles, the goddess Thetis, who has unlimited divine potential, but doesn't have a big social status in the Iliad, but we all know that she has big cosmic powers. This is the place where the goddess Thetis has sex with her new husband, Peleus, and she's not looking forward to it. She doesn't like it. She doesn't want it to happen. And we do have plot outlines from the ancient world telling about how during the intercourse she so hated it because she was being married off to a mortal man, that she changed into everything in the universe while the sex was going on, and at the moment that Achilles was conceived, she was a sepia. So she was a sepia, and that symbolizes unlimited potential, that Achilles, the son that she is going to give birth to, who's fathered by a mortal man, even though an alternative plan had been that Achilles, or the would-be Achilles, would be fathered by Zeus himself. Here he is fathered by a mortal man, but the potential that is represented by the mother is still there, unlimited potential. I think Goethe, in a romantic moment, would refer to this as unbegrenzte Möglichkeiten, unlimited potentials. Well, that's the way you'd say it for a romantic hero, but for the hero of the ancient Greeks, the ultimate hero, Achilles, it's certainly a situation where he's the son that Zeus never had, because the divine order was so threatened by the possibility that Zeus would impregnate Thetis, and what would happen if that happened, which is that the son would be mightier than the father.
You're talking about a prophecy.
That's a prophecy by
child,
Themis, and that is still spelled out in a beautiful piece of poetry that we know as Pindar's Isthmian 8. And I worked eternities on that poem, that song, and how important it is for understanding Achilles. So I had to say all of that to help you understand why there's going to be a very big storm. And if you fast forward to just where we start with 7.188.3, we find out that the name of the wind that produces this storm is Hellespontias, the wind from the Hellespont. Well, that is where the tumulus, the tomb of Achilles is. Achilles is sending all the way from across the Aegean, from his tomb, which also is a lighthouse on the Trojan plain. He's sending from there this mighty wind that will shipwreck people who are trying to enslave Athens, which represents in this context everything heroic that the Achaeans fought for back in the days of the Trojan War. Herodotus comes back to this word Sepias because he's so aware of the myth of the mother of Achilles as a sepia. And it's no accident that the magi, once this storm has done its damage, the magi of the Persians make sacrificial offerings and sing incantations to the wind, and then sacrifice to Thetis and the Nereids. So they have to appease Achilles' mother and indirectly Achilles himself. And now we find out about the story that this is the place where Peleus and Thetis had sex at the headland of Sepias. Sepias, I should say more accurately. So there it is. I couldn't help but already anticipate the story when Sepias was first mentioned, but now Herodotus himself points clearly to that story.